The Dusi 2014 is proudly brought to you by the KZN Department of Sport and Recreation, Isotonic Game, and Hansa. So, scorching hot weather in the Kingdom of the Zulu and matching racing on the water. And this is the way the paddlers go into day two. There's 5.5 minutes in the bank for Andy Burkett and Sponello Zondi, with Camp Skuman and Jacob Adam hanging on to third after a great stage one. Kwandam Klope and Zonele and Zuza in fourth. As far as the women's race is concerned, there's just 30 seconds separating the defending champions Robin Keim and Abby Ulansky. Abby Adi and her Czech Republic partner Anna Adamova very much in the hunt. The second stage, it's the tough one. It's the longest and by far the hardest. Once they reach the confluence with the Umgeni, they reach some serious rapids in the confluence section. The portage around Ibis Point. Gauging Weir is just above Mariani Foley, which is the halfway point in the race. And then the big three below Ngomeni, some of the most feared rapids on the race. And then the long slog down to the dam.
Day two of the Dusi Canoe Marathon starts here on the banks of the Dusi near Dusi Bridge that goes down to Mzinzi Resort at Inanda Dam, around 45 kilometers. Andrew Burkett and Sibonelo Zondi have a 5 minute and 29 second lead over Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker.
Early morning start, and with the prospect of the cloud and the mist blowing off and being burnt off by the hot KZN sun, Andy Burkett and Sponello Zondi had that 5.5 minutes lead. Were they going to protect it, or were they going to attack? They start off with 500 meters of flat water, and Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker, the surf ski buddies, with 5.5 minutes to wake up. Can the world marathon champ and his surf ski buddy reel that in, or will this be the day that Andy Burkett and Sponello Zondi draw a line in the sand when it comes to Dusi 2014? Early morning action, and you can see Zondi and Burkett are flying out of the blocks. They're dead keen to take every opportunity because they know full well that there have been no bones made about the fact that this is the day that Mocker and McGregor were going to attack. Sonele and Zuza and Kwandam Klope going brilliantly in fourth as well. This is local territory for these boys. They want to take full advantage of it. A quick run over the first saddles portage and then a paddle upstream unusually. Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker jumping into the boat, making sure that they don't lose any boat speed in the process. Now, here's Jacob Adam and Camp Skuman heading down to the put-in of the portage. Adam, somebody who's really learnt the art of Dusi and in particular has got his portaging right this year. Kwandam Klope and Sonele and Zuza bolting down to the water. Back to the women's race now. Abby Ulansky and Robin Keim charging off with that 30-second lead. Anna Adamova, freshly stitched, 8 stitches in her knee from that crash on day one. And Abby Adi desperate to try and reel them in. And they certainly look determined in the process. A little way behind them, the under-23 stars, Bianca and Tamika Hall. Down to the river they go. Abby Adi and Anna Adamova. That leg no doubt very stiff and sore from her crash. But ahead of them, Robin Keim and Abby Ulansky can see that the girls are catching them from behind as they approach the confluence of the Umgeni and the Umsunduzi rivers. The entire character of the race changes here. Just 21 cumecs in the river now. This is going to make it low and technically very testing. Burkett and Zondi head for the portage over the big granite rocks at Willem Chute. That cuts out the unpaddleable Ibis Point rapid. Now this is where they will have rehearsed every step of the portage. Behind them, Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker will be getting splits from their seconds, and those splits will not be good news because it shows that Burkett and Zondi are pulling away early on. Cam Skuman and Jacob Adam resisting the temptation to go down the slide and also opting for the traditional line over the rocks at Willem Chute. Now immediately below that, gauging weir just above the Marianne Foley Causeway, Burkett and Zondi in there perfectly. It's a shallow weir and it can damage your nose, but they got that on the button. Now, the Ngomeni Hill portage, the steepest portage on the race and the key portage on day 2, and an opportunity for these two well-honed athletes to really eke more advantage out of the gap they have between themselves and McGregor and Mocker. And that's exactly what they've done. They've run the Ngomeni Hill portage brilliantly, and as they get back to the portage, a well-rehearsed drill as Zondi gets the paddles out of the back of the boat. They don't ideally want that boat to stop moving. Behind them, Jasper Mocker runs as Hank McGregor drags the boat as they desperately try to close down the ever-growing gap between themselves and the race leaders. This heads down to the start of what is called the Big Three in the Mgeni section. It starts off with a rapid called Gumtree, then Tombi and Hippo. 3 rapids that can cause irreparable damage to the craft if the paddlers get it wrong. Mocker excited by the fast putter now. This is a huge moment for Andy Burkett. This is where he effectively lost his doozy last year. Tombi negotiated safely. That would be a huge confidence booster for him. He now slides down to Hippo Rocks. There's just enough water to get into the angular slot coming in from the right. And now he sizes up the last drop. Tricky and rocky at this level, but he nails it. And Zondi and Burkett paddle away clean. Now, Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker below Tombi are looking for lines, and they are struggling. They're heading into a dangerous section river, and you can see McGregor trying to adjust. He's shouting to his partner. There are rocks left and right in front of them. In fact, he's heading right into the middle of this. Some brilliant paddling by Hank McGregor getting them out of a sticky situation, but this is not the greatest of lines from a man who should know better when it comes to this section of river. He does get the line into Hippo 100% right. Great view of how to drop into that side slot. Time to get the boat speed up, and then you drop into the heart of the water, which approaches from the left-hand side. Here come McGregor and Mocker. They cannot afford to make a mistake here. They drop the nose of the boat into the hole and emerge clean. Here comes Skuman and Adam as well. Jacob Adam at the back, making sure that the boat is stable as they drop into the final section of Hippo Rocks. This is one of the big swim spots on the Dusi. Plenty of people in the water. Now let's zoom back upriver to the women's race as Abby Ulansky and Robin Kime go surging through the waters of the confluence. They've got a grip of just how much water is there, and as they go under the Marianne Foley Causeway, halfway of the race done there into the second half, they now know that they have these two right on their tails, Anna Adamova and Abby Ady, desperate to try and make sure that they do not break contact at this vital stage in the race. The portage over Ngomeni Hill completed, and they have run themselves into a handy lead. They've done what they wanted. They've broken contact with their chasers, and Robin Kime and her partner Abby Ulansky, you can see physically exhausted from the exertion, now know they have to make this opportunity count. They've broken contact and they want to try and maximize that and ideally balloon that lead before they get to the headwaters of Inanda Dam. All the pressure on Abby Ady and Anna Adamova right now. Adamova moving so uncomfortably. She's just finished that run with that badly lacerated knee which she had stitched after paddling yesterday, but she's not going to let her partner down. She's gutsed it out over that hard portage over the hill. Let's eavesdrop from the bank.
Right, what are you doing? Please make sure my knee is straight. I'm trying to do my best, but...
And trying to do her best is something that she is guaranteed to do for all 3 days of that race. Tricky water in the medium to low conditions and the boat being bounced around. Robin Kime and Abby Ulansky having to mind their P's and Q's to avoid any disasters. Remember, Robin Kime in her singles here having to deal with a wrapped boat immediately below Hippo. She doesn't want to have to go there again. Adamova in the chase with Abby Ady. They go into Tombi, slide beautifully on line A and exit left of the rocks. That is perfect. The headwaters of Inanda Dam, and thankfully the work of the duct officials and the race officials have cleared the Hyacinth. Inanda Dam, 11 kilometers of daunting flat water at the end of a tough day. And as they paddle through the algae at the headwaters of the dam, a magnificent shot of Andy Burkett and Spornello Zondi. This was meant to be the killing fields. This was where everybody expected Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker to have these two in their sights. The reverse is true because Jasper Mocker and Hank McGregor, paddling flat out like the champions that they are, have no sight at all of Burkett and Zondi ahead of them. As they wind their way down towards the finish, this is almost a march of triumph for Burkett and Zondi because they have now set themselves up brilliantly to take the 2014 title. Cam Skuman and Jacob Adam alone in third. They've been alone the entire race, in fact. But at the finish at Mcinsi Resort, it is Burkett and Zondi that come in. They have been magnificent on day 2, and the crowd recognizes something special that has just happened in the last 3 hours on the water. Happiness, Andy Burkett bailing out of the boat to the front tuck, and Zondi is learning a lot from Burkett in the process. Just behind them, it's McGregor and Mocker, and it's all eyes on the stopwatch now. That lead is now 9 minutes. And there's no doubt that Jasper Mocker and Hank McGregor have left it all out on the water. Third place, Cam Skuman and Jacob Adam. They'll be thrilled with that.
We made no mistakes. I got a bit nervous when I got to Tommy after last year's mishap I had there. Got through there clean and managed to hold it together and try and put in a hard pace across the dam. But that was a tough day of racing. We had to hold a really high pace to keep those guys off. Hank and Jasper were strong paddlers, and we knew and we were happy that they were going to try and catch us. And that's what you want when you race against guys like that.
It's been a tough pull across the dam, but there's smiles aplenty for Robin Keim and Abby Ulansky. They not only have their lead intact, but is it going to be enough of a lead for day 2? By the time Abby Adi and Anna Adamova come across the line, it's 2 minutes.
We pushed really, really hard the whole day. Halfway across the dam, I went bang, but Abby was pushing strong from the back, and we're very tough to get you with a little bit more lead than we had yesterday. It's much more than we could have expected.
So, going into the 36-kilometre final stage from Inanda Dam to Durban, here is the tale of the tape. 9 minutes in the bank for Burkett and Zondi. How will they face the final stage challenges? Burma Road, McGregor Mocker, going over, going round. As far as the women is concerned, it's far, far tighter. 2 minutes. Talk of Keim and Ulansky going over to put safety first. Adi and Adamova going round. Will there be enough water? Everything will be revealed on day 3. The Dusi 2014 is proudly brought to you by the KZN Department of Sport and Recreation, Isotonic Game, and Hansa.